Hello guys, Mario and Sonic for the win here, back again for another figure review. This time, as promised, the first four figures Classic Sonic 6-pack. This pack includes Tails, Knuckles, Super Sonic, Sonic, Amy Rose, and Metal Sonic. In depth with various topics such as detail, sculpt, boxes, pros and cons, and where you can get your own. Now to start this review, let's take a look at the box. The box for this pack of figures is very nice. On the front you can see the nice window packaging showing which figures are included in the pack. Now I'm going to go into some more intricate details that are included on the box. Right under Sonic you can see the Sonic the Hedgehog Classic logo, which has appeared several times on this box, such as in this top left hand corner. And on the bottom left hand corner you can see the age requirement, which can be overlooked, even though this is more for older and collectors. Now this checkerboard was a very nice touch because it is seen in pretty much all Sonic games under the grass, which was a very nice touch to add to the box. And on the bottom right hand corner you can see the copyright Sega. On the left and right side of the boxes you can see a picture of Classic Sonic jumping with a cityscape in the background and the blue checkerboard, which is very nice. And you can see Sonic the Hedgehog minifigure collectible 6-pack, which is saying what this pack is. Now on the back it shows the classic cartoon characters of what these character figures were based off of pretty much. Now all of them are pretty accurate and each of them have a ring around them shining, which is a pretty nice touch. In this bottom right hand corner you can see the company's logo, first four figures. And that's pretty much it for the box. A very good one for this pack anyway. And now I'm going to go into the Sonic figure. This is the Sonic figure in this pack. This figure is near perfect, with really no real flaws. Now, his sculpt is excellent. It qualifies as a classic Sonic look perfectly. The quills are different, the ears are different, everything is different from a new school Sonic, which is great because that resembles a perfect likeness to the classic Sonic. His expression is really nice. I like the little smile right there. And his eyes are very classic. There's not a bit of green, just the black in the pupil, which is very nice. It doesn't suffer from the Rosaurus defect of huge eyes. The stomach part looks a little big, but that is how Classic Sonic really did look back then. The pose is pretty nice. I like how his arms are bent a little bit instead of just being flat. That adds a little bit of character to him. His shoes are great. They're very, very classic. Just red, pointy, with the little yellow buckle and the white stripe, and his socks. Everything is to scale. His quills look very nice, very classic. Gives you that very reminiscent feel. The tail, little tiny tail right there, that little stub. And the back quills are very nice as well. Not much to say about this guy because everything looks so nice. And the detail's great. The sculpt resembles Classic Sonic greatly. And really there's not much to say about it, but definitely one of the best in this pack. Now unfortunately this figure, like the others, has no articulation whatsoever. That is really the only flaw I can find about this guy. This is the Tails figure in the series. This Tails is really great. It looks perfectly like a classic Tails figure. The expression on his face is pretty nice. The two pupils add like an innocent effect to his face, instead of Sonic's just one pupil. His nose is very nice. It's just that little stub. And his mouth is just kind of that open-mouthed grin, which is very nice. His bangs are made of a hard plastic, so if you drop this guy, they're not breaking anytime soon. His ears are to scale along with everything else on this guy, which is very nice. Now, the fur on his stomach is very nice. It's not too big and it's not too small because this is classic and everything was kind of exaggerated in the classic form. Now, his hands have the cuffs, which is an accurate detail as well. Same with the others. Now, his tails are pretty nice too. They mingle at just the right spot, the yellow and the white, and they're a pretty nice size as well. They actually help him stand a little bit because he doesn't stand perfectly on his feet, but pretty near perfect. His shoes are really nice in the sense that they have that little blue undercuff under his socks, which is very accurate to the game, and just the little red and whiteness. And there is a little buckle, if you can see it, if it'll focus. It's not really focusing, but there is a little buckle in the blue. Now under there are no treads, but that's perfectly fine with me, since this is a green, but you can see Sega. It is encarved under him. Now, this figure, again, looks great, so there's not really too much to say, but another great feature is that it's to scale. Let me show you. Here's a comparison of Sonic and Tails. As you can see, Sonic is quite a bit larger than Tails, which is very accurate to the games and just a great feature to have with these figures. Now for the Knuckles figurine. Knuckles is a really great one in this series. His detail is very good. Since Knuckles hasn't really changed from classic to current in design, he still looks pretty similar to his new current design. His face expression in this, however, is really nice. His grin is pretty similar to Sonic's actually, even his eyes are kind of similar, with the one pupil and the blackness. Now the dreadlocks are very nicely done. They're not too long and they come to just the right point. And even the back one is the shortest, which is a very accurate detail. The tail is nicely bent at that part, which is very game accurate. Now the hands are the pretty a critical part to Knuckles, and they look great. They look very classic and very cartoony. The knuckles are just at the right size, the pointy part I mean. They got the little half a moon on his chest, which is very nice. It doesn't look too big and it doesn't look too small, which I like a lot. And his shoes are very nicely done. They captured a lot of details on this guy. They got every little bolt there, and they used all the correct colors. Now this says Sega as well on the bottom. This is a really good one, and I believe it is to scale too, so let me do a quick comparison. Now in comparison of all three of them, you can obviously tell Knuckles is the tallest. The ears of Sonic do give illusion that he is the tallest, but Knuckles is the tallest. And as well as Knuckles to Tails, you can tell that Tails is far steps shorter than Knuckles, which is the way it's supposed to be. So Knuckles was a really great one in this series. Now for Amy Rose. Amy Rose looks very well done in her classic form by First Four Figures. Her face does resemble that of Sonic's by a little bit of a margin. Her grin is slightly similar to Sonic's, and her eyes are quite similar. However, they did add eyelashes to enhance her girly effect, which was very nice. The bangs of Amy are pretty well done. They're very hard, so they're not going to break off either, and they're very thick. So the back quills are very nicely done as well. There's not as many as Sonic's. I believe Sonic has one more coming down the middle. And her headband is nice too. They got that all the way around, and it comes to a little bow there. Amy's pose looks very nice. It's very girly, and she kind of looks like a schoolgirl actually, which might be what they were going for in her classic form, with the whiteness of the collar, the green shirt, and her little orange skirt there. Her hand poses are very nice. They just enhance that pose that she's going for. And her shoes look very nice. I like how it's light blue back there, and that can be easily seen. And the shoelaces are very huge and bulky. That just adds to a classic cartoonish look, which I really like. So Amy is a very good one in this series, and she is perfectly to scale as all the others are. So for a quick comparison, here she is compared with Sonic, and as you can see, they are just about at the same height, which is perfect, since in most of the games, they are exactly the same height. So that was a great size, scale for them. Now for the Metal Sonic figure. Metal Sonic looks incredible in his classic form. They captured the three quills and the ball on the back of his head very nicely. They got the engine pretty good. His hand poses and just his overall pose looks very menacing and very evil. Even how his eyes are kind of looking up at you and his hands are just kind of like come at me are very evil and a very good likeness to how Metal Sonic looks in all of the games. Now they got his front little core very accurately. You can see all the little lines in there. His blue shin guards are pretty well done. His shoes look very classic. They got the one bolt and the little white stripe and the red. Metal Sonic is just very good. His texture is a little more slippery and a little shinier because he's supposed to be metallic, which is very well done. His muzzle is fully painted, unlike the 10-inch Metal Sonic by Jazzwares, but that's a different company. So they captured Metal Sonic's elements very nicely. He looks totally menacing as hell. And just against Sonic, they look totally awesome together. Let me do a quick comparison. Now, when Metal Sonic and Sonic are stacked against each other, they look very awesome. The only thing that is kind of, off-putting about this is that Metal Sonic's quills are more upward, so that gives the effect or illusion that Metal Sonic is taller than Sonic, when in the real case they are pretty much identical in height, which is how Metal Sonic was made. He was supposed to be replicated of Sonic. So when put against each other, they look really awesome, especially due to Metal Sonic's pose, which, is really, he looks like a villain. So that was really neat. And now we're going to move on to the final figure, Super Sonic. Now for the Super Sonic, all I have to say is, whoa. No, but Supersonic is maybe, I would say, the best in this 6-pack. Supersonic is perfectly yellow. He looks very golden and very heroic. He has that determined little, downwards grin, which is very awesome. It's very fitting for Supersonic. His quills are perfectly upwards and very classic looking. I don't know how else to describe that, but he does look very classic, which is very, very nice. He doesn't look like the new school Supersonic, is all I'm saying. Now, his little tan stomach region looks a little bit smaller than on the original Sonic, but that's perfectly fine with me. His pose is very nice with his hand bent upward. It looks like he's about to go show some evil Robotniks their way. And he just looks great overall. His shoes are identical to Sonic's, but they got his back quills and his tail in the same way, but his quills are obviously upward, as I said. Now, they didn't make his eyes red because back then I'm pretty sure they did not change his eye color, but Supersonic looks really, really, really badass in this series, and he's probably my favorite since he looks so good. Now, as I said, none of these have articulation, and I really don't think that they need to. But this was the Supersonic, guys, and now I'm going to go to the pros and cons of this series. Now for the pros and cons of these guys. For the first pro, I would definitely say that they look totally awesome as a set. As a set, they are perfect. Second pro, they stand very well on their own. Third pro is that they're perfectly to scale. And the fourth and final pro is their price. I believe they run retail at $30, and that's a perfect price for these. You're getting 6, so you're paying $5 a piece. Now for the cons, I really can't think of any, guys, so this is pretty much the perfect classic Sonic set for any collector out there, so if you don't have it, pick it up. Now, since this is a figure made by First 4 Figures, you can easily get this express right off their site, first4figures.com. I'll have a link in the description if you want to get your own, and that's an easy way to pick it up, but if not, you could always try eBay or Amazon, any other sites. All in all, these guys get a 10 out of 10 in my book, easily. Now, if you don't have this, definitely pick it up right now off first4figures.com. If you don't have it, you need to get it, because anything that First 4 Figures releases mainly is on a limited retail and release, so that means that they're not going to have it in the future. So if you want to get it now. Keep it in the box, take it out to display, do whatever you want with it. It's a really nice set. I hope you guys liked my new review setup and my new format. Subscribe, please. I could use the subscribers. Thank you for letting me hit 400. I'm very grateful for that. And stay tuned for more reviews, unboxings, and just one of the best Sonic collectors out there. So I'll see you guys later.